All right. Well, I managed to find another RCA Victor TV, albeit I didn't get this one quite for free. It was $35, but it is certainly in a lot better shape. Not sure about the exact year. This RCA Victor black and white TV is probably from the early 50s. It's a higher end model. It's a model that sits on the floor as opposed to the tabletop version over here. Now, I think the chassis number might be a bit different. If you look under here with the older one I got from 1949, it's in the veneer on this is in rough shape. I haven't gotten to working on this yet. I've only had a few capacitors taken out, but this is going to be probably a bit easier to work on, and it's probably going to be the same story of what is probably wrong. It's going to need recapped. That's a given. We all know that with these older TVs, the capacitors, the wax papers, the oil-filled ones, bumblebees, the works, more of the same story, but it is in very nice shape. It was very close by, and it was much easier to lift. And this TV, believe it or not, was the easiest to move out of any other TV I've moved. Period. Full stop. Because it's, not that it's lighter, but it was easier to carry. And this side's in really nice shape. The other side, not as much, but it's not bad just for how old it is. Now, the guy who sold it to me, his grandparents bought this. This is from an original owner's family, and it was last in service in 1970. So this was already quite out of date by 1970, and VHF only 13 channels. And it's got a speaker cloth grill in immaculate condition. It's got this big beefy speaker down there, along with some cobwebs you can't see because it's really dark. But spiders down there were having a party. And you got this weird tin pot metal cover for the yoke and the neck. The Victor, 160 watts for this little 10-inch black and white set, model T2-T-60, made in Camden, New Jersey, which I believe the other one was Cambridge, or maybe I'm getting the cities mixed up. So these controls, it's interesting. There is an external phono audio plug. In other words, the audio this is an audio in plug where you can actually have an external audio input, which would have been phono at the time, phonograph, and it would have went to that speaker down there, which is kind of cool. That was a feature that these RCAs had, and you could switch between them. Serial number's a little bit ripped up, but I'm not quite sure about how old it is. I'll have to find out. I haven't opened it up yet. I just got it in here. It was raining, of course. Every time I decide to go outside, which is rare these days, it decides to rain. Well, that's just part of living where I live at. Oh. If you carefully open it up, you can take a peek in here and you can see it's... I know you can't see much. I'll do a follow-up video, but it's a lot cleaner in here by miles and miles than it was with the other TV. It looks better on the inside and outside. There is dust. I think the chassis is a little bit different, but not terribly much different. So it's going to need to be recapped. The picture tube might be tired. The symptoms that were described by the person who sold it to me was that when it last worked in 1970, the sound and picture would come on, but at some point, sporadically and intermittently, the picture raster would just go away completely. There'd be no vertical or horizontal, nothing. Just blank, and the sound would just keep going. So that would tell me that something is very wrong with the video circuit, or probably more likely than not, the high voltage power supply circuit. I bet the high voltage rectifier tube probably failed or was only on the fritz, and the voltage output was just too damn low. And that could probably it's probably a 1B3 GT like the other TV that's under that tablecloth to make it look like a ghost in time for Halloween down the road. We will be investigating this further. This is kind of on a waiting list because I've still got to work on my Ford Philco and finish that up, which I'm going to be posting a few videos on that soon. I'm closing in on that issue. I've got my Zenith here waiting. I've got this TV over here. I've got more than I know what to do with right now. I really didn't need to probably grab this, but for $35 and it was a short drive away and I could just fit it in a car. Not many excuses, and it's in very, very nice shape. it's probably just going to need a recap and a high voltage rectifier tube replacement, and probably a thorough vacuuming, although it won't be quite as dirty and nasty as this thing was. This thing was gooey and disgusting underneath. This thing may actually be a little bit more visually appealing. So we'll see what we're working with here. But another beautiful TV, well, a lot more beautiful than some of the other ones I've seen. This kind of ranks closer to on the end of where the Ford Filco was. Very, very good physical condition. This thing did have a decent amount of use, but it was never in a barn or a shed. It was always indoors, and that's why this thing's probably going to have a little bit of a better chance than this thing will, although I think I can both get them working. I just hope the picture tube's not that bad, but if I have to, I can do a rejuvenation and cross my fingers, but I'd rather not have to risk it. But these kind of TVs were built like tanks. I mean, this was when RCA really made good TVs. I mean, they really did back then in the 40s and 50s. They were pretty good with their TVs. But this was back when RCA was an actual company. This was before GE bought them out in '86, and RCA used to be a part of GE, but because of antitrust laws, they were forced to be spun off a gazillion years ago, long before, like, really, I think my grandparents might have barely been alive when that happened. But it's a very, very nice TV, though. One that I think I should stop sitting on this, and you want to look at the front end, don't you? Who cares about the side, right? Looks nice. Looks absolutely nice, and I'm sure that this will be yet another. It'll be easier than the color Motorola TV. I mean, this thing has a whole lot less to it. But wait a minute, what is this? What am I looking? What the hell? 34th what? 34. Did the guy who sold that to me, wait a minute. Did he write? Oh my God. Dude, what the? Did he write the measurements of the TV and etch them in on the wood? Did he not have a piece of a paper and a pencil? He did. Oh my God. What the hell? No. The Old English did not take care of this. This is not whatever. It was $35, but is that an exclamation mark? Is this some kind of cryptic message for help? Or did a child just do this and I'm giving them way too much credit? That's clearly 34 height, D for what? D for dunce, because they wrote, I don't, wide. Why did you write in the veneer? My God, people. No, don't write on the veneer. My God. Hopefully there's a little bit more signs of intelligent life inside the set. At least this was easy to move, but what the heck? Why aren't they at it? Why don't they do a tic-tac-toe on there? I think I saw a Dumont set on YouTube from a certain YouTuber who had that dilemma. No, it was Motorola, excuse me. But this one though. Did they really have to write it there? Could they have not just, I don't know. All right. I'm going to let it go. What you get. It's not what you get. You don't get what you give. You just get what you get. That's how it is. The 90s, it was you get what you give. Now it's you get what you get, and that's all you're going to get. And that is all you're going to get for this episode. Good night.